This college football season is crazy. I mean, first off, we had Alabama lose to Texas A&M. We had Ohio State losing to Oregon. Then we have the team up north all of a sudden just proving a lot of the bettors wrong. A lot of the bettors had them going 6-6, 7-5. I mean, they're already 6-0. Penn State looks like they're getting way better and could be a threat in the East. Michigan State 7-0, which is crazy considering that past couple of years they haven't been good. Oregon took a loss to Stanford after winning against Ohio State. And then you got Iowa, who beat Penn State possibly because of the quarterback being hurt. But then they take an L to Purdue. So right now, a lot of the college football games are pretty good to watch because you just don't know. A lot of these players have moved, especially from the top portion teams. They have moved to the NFL, and so we're getting a lot of raw talent, and it's causing a lot of crazy things to happen. And today I want to actually talk about one of the craziest things that could happen, and that is two college football teams in Ohio, could possibly get into the college football playoff this season. The two teams in question is the Ohio State Buckeyes, which is my favorite team, and the Cincinnati Bearcats, which has been one of the best Group of 5 teams that has risen in the past few years. I mean, they are the best Group of 5 team. The coach used to be a coach for Ohio State, so it makes it kind of obvious why Cincinnati's so good. They got that Ohio State type of coach and recruiter. So right now, Ohio State is sitting at number 5, and Cincinnati is sitting at number 2. Number 2 for a Group of 5 team. And if you guys know anything about college football, Group of 5 teams are always overlooked. Sometimes it's because they just don't have the talent, and most times they just play Group of 5 teams. And so if you got a level above that, then basically lower Power 5, maybe mid Power 5 teams at best. But Cincinnati this year is not a middle group of a middle Power 5 that's a Group of 5 team. They are a high Group of 5, a high Power 5 team, but they're a Group of 5 team. And we saw this last year because Cincinnati almost took Georgia and almost beat them last year. And Georgia right now is sitting at number 1. So it shows evidence that Cincinnati can hold with anybody. And that's important to know going into this. Now, Ohio State is at number 5. And your question is, how do they get into the top 4, right? If we want both these teams to be in the playoffs, how do we get them into the top 4? Well, I got scenarios that would get both Ohio teams in. The one that is the most popular is that Cincinnati and Ohio State win out. Pretty obvious. If you don't win, you don't get in the playoff. Georgia wins out, knocking out Alabama. Alabama right now is in 4th, even though they lost to Texas A&M, which at that point they were unranked. But then the College Football Playoff Committee, not the Playoff Committee, but the AP poll, put them in the top 25. Third thing is Alabama wins until SEC championship versus Georgia. This will make sure that no other SEC team that has one loss can somehow sneak into the playoff. as long as Alabama keeps care of business until they go to that championship game, with them already having a loss, it would probably make sure that that no other team can get in through that. An explosion of losses in Big Ten East teams that are not Ohio State. So this is your Michigan, Penn State, Michigan State teams. I mean, all of them are going to have to play Ohio State anyway. But for a team like Michigan or Michigan State, they may have to lose another one on top of that. And obviously, they had to play each other too. Michigan has to play Penn State and Michigan State. Michigan State has to play Penn State and Michigan. It could turn ugly to where these teams are no longer in the top 10. Whichever ones those are, and whichever one wins out of those 4 teams will probably be in the playoff. Unless they have 2 losses, and then no Big Ten East representative. But you want basically them to be up each other, except for Ohio State. Want them to keep winning, obviously. And then I have an extra qualification for how Ohio State and Cincinnati could play in the national championship. I mean, think about this. Columbus and Cincinnati is not that far away, right? So, they're going to have a national championship game. I think this year is in Indianapolis. So, you're talking about Cincinnati and Ohio State playing in a stadium that is one state away. That could be absolutely amazing. Imagine what Ohio would be like watching this game. Now, obviously, maybe it wouldn't be as good because maybe viewership wouldn't be as good because of the area that both would take up. It would basically just be most of Ohio, and then that's it. Although maybe some other people watch it. It's college football. I mean, but the qualifications are that is all the before I mentioned stuff. So win out, Georgia wins out, Alabama wins until the SEC championship, and Big Ten East explodes except for Ohio State. And then Oklahoma wins out, which that would put Oklahoma at number 3. That'd put Cincinnati, Oklahoma at 2 and 3, which means that they would face each other. And then if Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship and wins out, they will be number 4, as long as Alabama loses to Georgia, and that would put Georgia against Ohio State. Now, I think that Cincinnati could definitely beat Oklahoma. Cincinnati is a complete team. And while I still have a little bit of doubt on that, I do feel like Cincinnati could probably beat them. The bigger part is can anybody in this country beat Georgia, right? I mean, Georgia has the best defense. There are people who complain. I mean, there's jokes on the internet about Georgia fans being mad because they allowed 1 touchdown, right? They haven't given up more than 17 points in a game. In the game that they gave up 17 points, they won like 60-something to 17. Not exactly like you're going to go and have Georgia on rookie mode and go 500 yards on them. 500, 600, 700 yards. You're not doing that with Georgia. Okay? And so you got to question what offense can be high-powered enough to defeat Georgia. Now, Ohio State has the best offense in the country. Ohio State has had the most yards so far this season. And so maybe Ohio State could make Georgia's defense bad. I wouldn't say bad. They're still really good, but give them a run for the money and put up a lot of points on the board, enough to beat them. Georgia's offense isn't as good, so if you can put up quite a few touchdowns, you can definitely win. So, while I think that this is possible, college football is kind of weird. So, do I think that this will happen? I give it a 25% chance. I mean, you gotta think. You have so many variables. You have to have 2 teams win out. Well, you actually need 3 teams to win out. You need Georgia, Cincinnati, Ohio State to win out. And then you need 1 team to basically win until the SEC championship. And then if you want a national championship between Cincinnati and Ohio State, you gotta add Oklahoma winning out. So, there's 6 factors here, and there's so many factors that you can't really predict it because it's so far down the road. Like, obviously, Ohio State still has to play. We still have to play 3-4 hard games before the end of the year, and for all I know, Ohio State could lose all 4, and we could be 5-5, or we could be 7-5 at the end of the year. I don't know. I don't think that's what Ohio State will do. I think I would not be happy as a Ohio State fan if they went 7-5. But again, college football is weird, and I think that while both Cincinnati and Ohio State is good, I'm not really sure if I can put my trust in this scenario happening. So, that's it for now. I may post an update about this later in the year. Maybe once we get late into October and we talk about the championship game or talk about the Big Ten championship and the AAC championship. Maybe I can post something about that. Maybe I can say, hey, this is the point where everything lines up. So, that's it for this video, and hopefully you guys like this. Kind of a new thing. Just wanted to see, hey, what's the odds right here? Like, is there a chance that we get something crazy happening in college football? So, yep, we will see you guys later, and have a good time.